I forget how to get my video on. Let me see. Oh, okay. I see. And there we go. Okay, cool. Woo! Awesome. It's finally happening.
All right.
Oh, okay. I thought I disappeared. Okay.
How are you? How was your day?
It was excellent. I just had some hot chocolate, and that's been my obsession. I just keep making homemade hot chocolate because I have this really nice cacao that I'm obsessed with. So I've been doing that. So that's like the highlight of my day every day. But but yeah, I'm doing well. How are you? How's your day?
My day was good. Boring, but I also had a doctor's appointment. I had to go get my Botox for my migraines. Um,
Awesome.
I was trying to test out this Black Ops game, but apparently I can't play it. So there goes that.
Manifesting.
I literally just got it, and now I can't play it because my graphics card it's telling me my system doesn't meet the requirements apparently.
Oh, what the fuck?
I'm like, I wish I would have known that before I went and got it. I didn't know that my system didn't meet the requirements, and I have no idea how to figure that out.
Mm.
I mean, it's good to have for future reference, but it's like, damn, okay.
Yeah. Wait, so you get Botox for migraines? Has that been really successful for you?
Um, that depends because if I'm stressed out, no.
Yeah.
I think my migraines are they're very much triggered by stress, and certain triggers trigger my migraines. The doctors really don't know why I've been getting them. I've been getting them since I was literally 12,
Oh, wow.
and nobody can figure out why I get them. I'm wondering if maybe it's just for spiritual.
Right. Totally. Totally.
Because if they can't figure it out, then it's probably just literally spiritual.
Right. No, I can totally see that.
Either way, it's kind of it is what it is. I'm manifesting that I don't have to take off or like keep doing it forever.
Yeah. I'm visualizing it for you as well.
Thank
Migraines
you.
too. You never had them.
Yeah, that part.
um, I see someone said, "Yo, Queens, hi." Queens and Queen.
Yeah, but I'm glad that, like, what kind of hot chocolate cacao did you have?
Yeah, so I get this cacao from this brand called Anima Mundi, which full disclosure I have a partnership with, but like I genuinely love them. I was using them before I even started partnering with them, and then reached out to them because I love them so much. And funny enough, like I take something for them for my migraines that has helped me. But yeah, but the cacao is from them, and so I use that. I use coconut sugar, a pinch of sea salt, and then oat milk, and then just mix that on the stove, and it's delicious.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. Makes me so happy. Oh, hi, Tracy. Or she has Alexis there, but that's her middle name. That's my friend Tracy. Great to see
Oh,
you here.
yeah, I'm happy that we get to do this live. Like,
For real,
we've
finally.
been trying to do this for so long.
I know. It's really funny. I was like, "Yay, it's happening now, all in divine time." That means it's gonna be even more epic than it ever would have been in the past. So,
That part. That part.
mm-hmm.
Can be amazing. Trying to see if more people are going to maneuver with coming by. I did
Okay.
share that. I did share it out
Oh,
to.
how do I share it? How do I do that?
You gotta click on the arrow.
Okay, and then add to store. What can I do? What do I do? I just what's like the best thing to do? Just add to story, you think?
I just send some of my friends the
Oh, some of
link,
your friends. Gotcha. Okay.
and that's how I usually do it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, because I know when I've gone live, you shared some of mine, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. And then that's when I realized I was like, oh wait, shit, I can share a live. I'm such a noob when it comes to these things.
I get it. Like I get it. I get it. I was gonna ask. So actually, no. This is a good question. Where did you get the name, the Reframe Queen?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it just came to me one day. I don't even remember like a specific thing, like I saw something or anything. It just literally came to me one day, and I was like, "Hey, I really like that name. I'm gonna take it." And the rest is history. I don't know, and I'm just someone that loves shift like perspective shifts, and I feel like it just captures my content and what I do so well, just taking things from another angle. So yeah, it was just a download, I guess, one day and just
With that, does it definitely does what it needs to do?
yes.
It really does.
hmm
Um, that's really, yeah. Because I always wondered. I was like, wait, why does she call herself the Reframe Queen?
Yes. Perspective shifting left and right.
You gotta change the perspective. It's like it's easy. I feel like it's very easy. We get caught up in like we really do get caught up in trying to, you know, not like we get caught up into like what's going on that we don't take the time to like try to like pause for a second to like reframe what is actually really going on.
Yeah, no, for real. I agree. And that's what manifestation is. I feel like it's reframing everything that's happening in your reality and attaching positive meaning to get the outcome you want. I feel like that's how you alchemize. That's how you transmute things. It's like, okay, looking no longer looking through a negative lens and into a positive lens.
Yeah, that part, like yeah, that part. Like I think that's like the essence of what we need to like. I feel like that's the essence of it. And I think that when you like when I first found manifesting and I first like got into it, it was like kind of like one of those I didn't know um I didn't know what I know now,
Right.
and because I didn't know what I know now, I'm like all it would have took was me literally um just being more mindful and being more present.
Right.
And I think that would have made things so much easier if I would have just been more present.
Right. Right. For real. I know presence goes a long way. It's underrated, but it's so simple.
Yeah. Like it's definitely so simple, but we forget it.
Yeah, for sure.
So at least that's where I am now, and I think that's why. even though I am getting my degree in mindfulness, that's why a big component of I'm thankful that I'm taking the degree in mindfulness because it adds on to something that I wouldn't normally have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody teaches this.
Yeah. For real. For real.
Like nobody's teaching that. Like no one's teaching, the mindfulness aspect of it like that. So it's like, okay, well, if no one else is teaching it, then I'm just gonna have to go to school. Like I'm gonna have to go to school for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. What does your manifestation practice look like day to day? Like now, what is your practice?
It's more it's more lazy and mindful, incorporating mindfulness
Okay.
practices and doing what I want to do and doing if I don't feel like doing something, I'm not gonna force myself to do it.
Mm, back to that.
Um, in the past, I was very like I stuck with a schedule. I would wake up in the morning, do the affirmations in the morning. I would script in the morning, and then in the afternoon I would script. Before bed, do the same thing, and then listen to like subliminals and affirmations. I was like, yeah, this is not starting to be fun. So
Right.
now I've just gotten to this point where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna be lazy.
Right.
Because either way, I'm still gonna get it.
Yeah. Might as well make it fun and more easeful.
Yeah. What about you? What's your process like now?
Yeah, I script daily. I've been doing that for a while, or I'll script a few times a day, but like I do like a big pop of script in the morning. That takes me a long time. But it's so fun for me, so like I enjoy it every time. That's at the center of my practice, and then just surrendering to the present moment is super important because I notice when I do that and like I pay attention to what's coming into my reality because whatever's coming in to me somehow has to do with my manifestation. So even if it looks completely different than maybe it looks like it's going in the opposite direction, but a lot of the time it's me just saying yes to things even if it feels like, oh, I'm not going to get my manifestation if I do this. And then somehow it leads me there in a way I don't anticipate. So it's really fun. I feel like part of the fun of manifestation is the surprise of it. And so I've gotten things just in ways I didn't anticipate, which are really cool. So it's surrendering for the present moment and scripting right now.
No, that's valid. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's kind of similar to like where I'm like similar to where I'm at. Um, that's definitely similar to where I'm at in terms of like getting past it. I think that I'm at the nitty gritty, like because I've manifested so many like big things, but there's still those moments where I'm like doubting,
Right.
especially because there's like I was telling the group, like I was telling the ladies that I have to do class with. We have these weekly meetings for school, and I was telling them, I said I really struggle with trying to control the how
Mm,
and trying to figure out the how. Like
yeah.
that's always been my issue is I'm constantly trying to figure out the how. I'm constantly trying to figure out like, and that really hinders me. Oh, thank you. I think that really hinders me a lot because, or it slows down my manifestations because I'm trying to figure out the how, even with, my big move that that I'm working on.
Yeah.
There's like all these like little minuscule things
Yeah.
that I'm working on, and there's all these things that I'm like are in the middle, and I'm like trying to tackle each thing, and I'm like, how do I just not do with this so that I can get what I want?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I could definitely understand that. Like I feel like it's a huge unlearning process, this whole thing.
It is. a learning process. Like it's definitely a learning process. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. It's a lot,
Yeah.
but are we gonna get through this? Of course we're gonna get through it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you. By the way, you didn't even need to do that, but thank you.
Aw.
Like that's a lot, but thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's where I'm currently at. Trying to
Yeah.
surrender, like really working on surrendering and not um surrendering and not trying to control the how
Right.
and
Right.
figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. Do you have like a practice for like when the mind is getting kind of wonky or, wants to go down that road or wants to go down the spiraling road? Is there something you do to bring yourself back to center and being like, "Oh wait, I'm the god of my reality."
I
Like,
let it happen.
I'm sorry?
I let it happen.
Let it happen. Ooh, okay.
I know that that's counterintuitive, and I know that's not what most people are used to hearing, but I actually just let it happen
Hmm. No, I like that. I mean,
because, like, why that if I'm sitting here trying to stop myself from spiraling all the time, it's like it defeats the purpose.
hmm,
It defeats the purpose of what I'm taught in school, the mindfulness aspect.
right,
It defeats the detachment. In order for you to learn how to detach, you have or to sit with it and be with it. How can I do that if I'm trying to be like, okay, nope, it's this way.
right, right. Totally. I feel like that disempowers it too. Like you're no longer scared of the thoughts or the emotions too by allowing it to happen. And that's a surrender in itself also. Like I feel like whenever there's a spiral or any sort of quote unquote negative experience for lack of a better word, it's like a release of the old belief systems. Like to me
Yeah.
it's just like okay, it just needs to go. It's not something we necessarily need to argue with. It's just on its way out.
Yeah. Like what's there to like don't argue, don't fight it, just let it be.
Yeah.
Like it's just it doesn't I can't I don't understand how some creators would be like they make it such a big thing about like reacting or spiraling, and it's like you're not like just be with it. Like why it's like you're making people scared of feeling their emotions. You're still a human having your human experience.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. I mean,
And
yeah.
I have literally been in situations where I've had the opposite come up like you, and I allowed myself to feel however it was that I was feeling. I allowed myself to spiral, quote unquote,
Uh-huh.
and then I still got what I wanted.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. I feel like the more we pay attention, the more we'll realize, oh, wait, well, I've gotten things in the past and I was totally imperfect. Like, there's so much evidence out there. I spiraled and I got it. Oh, I was really emotional and I got it. My mental diet was shit and I got it. Like, there's so many instances that I can think of, and I know many people, and I'm sure you can too, where it's like, oh, okay, we don't need to be perfect to get what we want. It's all about intention at the end of the day. Like, I think we end up putting thoughts on a pedestal too, or the technique on a pedestal also, but it's really us. Where the power's in us, not in the technique.
And that's important to remember. Like the power is in us. Like even before I knew about the law of assumption, I was manifesting stuff, and like I allowed myself to feel. I allowed myself to vent. Like, oh, you can't vent. Like, don't talk about your circumstances. Don't do this. And it's like, well, am I venting to find a solution or am I venting to complain? Like,
Mhm.
it's the perspective that you're giving it. I'm not venting to complain. I'm venting to find a solution. I'm venting to release, not complain.
Yeah.
And I think that when you have that mentality of I think when you get that mentality and switch that to that of like venting to find a solution or venting to release, it helps you better.
Yeah.
Like that's just how I feel.
Yeah. No, I think
It's
that's totally.
healthier.
Oh my God, yeah. Like
Do
that
you
discernment, you know?
do you after a point stop consuming too much manifestation content? Yep, I do. I like because after a while, there's just at some point you have to trust yourself.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm at that point of I'm no longer um I consume content, but I consume the content that resonates with me or the content creators that I support, like you. Or on Sundays, I started watching church sermons of the Transformation Church with Michael Todd. I watch a lot. I've been watching his. The word of the year is focus. So, and we're currently going through a series for distractions. Last week we were last week's sermon was about the disease of it was the disease of distraction, in which I believe it was something about saying that being double minded is a disease.
Mm,
And it's the biggest disease ever. And being double minded means you are wavering.
mm. Snaps.
Like, you cannot be in two places at once. You cannot serve two masters at once. You're in or you're out.
Yeah.
It's either you have the thing or you don't. It's either your rent is paid or it's not. It's one of the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that by me rewatching, starting back up with watching the church sermons, even though I'm not physically there, it helps to reinstall my faith and that builds up that conviction again because I can admit I stopped watching it.
Hmm.
Like I stopped watching it and I used to go to church like a lot. That was like my safe haven. And I stopped going because I wanted to find my own way. Then I found Transformation Church and I've been on like, this whole spiritual journey and I'm not um yes, I'm studying Buddhism and the mindfulness aspects, and then there's the church. But this is why a big component of who I am. I realized that I'm an omnist, which is basically someone who finds the truth in all religions, as opposed to an atheist who doesn't.
I like that.
So I could go to church on Sunday and then go to a temple or go to like a mosque or a monk Zen retreat or something
Uh-huh.
and be perfectly fine because I'm exploring and finding the different truths and taking what resonates and leaving what doesn't.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that so much. I've never heard of that term before, actually. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's helpful. It's really helpful
Mm-hmm.
because it
Yeah.
brings everything. It allows me to be more fluid and it allows me to bring everything together as opposed to just sticking to the one and like sticking to the one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I can relate to that a lot.
Yeah, that it's helpful. I just Yeah, like I can't, for so long, like I felt like I was stuck in a cult when it came to the church that I was going to. So
Uh-huh.
it was like, oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way, and it made me feel judged if I didn't do something the right way. And it's like,
Hmm.
who are you to judge?
Yeah.
You're not here to judge me because only, the God in me can judge me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't judge me. Mind your business. Drink water and mind your business. And I've also learned that church is not going to church. Church is in you. Church is your fellowship. Church is what you do on Sunday. And if I want to stay home and watch church, I can stay home.
Hmm.
It's where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, consciousness source is in you because you are source.
Hmm.
And all the material that I've read, whether it be in the Bible, whether it be the 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 Eastern philosophy, the quantum physics, everything goes back to and says the same thing, just different words.
Yeah. So fucking true. It's all the same thing in different fonts. It all leads to the same place.
Literally, it leads to the same thing, same place. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just make it complicated.
Mhm. Mhm.
We all want enlightenment. We all want nirvana. We all want heaven on earth. Like that's literally what it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on the day when people start to realize that it is literally all the same thing. You're arguing about the same thing.
Mhm. It's crazy. You're right. Arguing about the same thing. It's funny. It's so funny. It kind of reminds me of like when, and you've probably experienced this too, when you receive a comment or you see a comment on someone else's video and someone has completely misunderstood the video and thinks they're arguing against the person, but they actually agree with the person. Like it's the funniest comment to ever receive. I'm like, wait, hold up, this person actually agrees with what I'm saying. They just completely misunderstood what I said.
And it's that makes it even more. It makes it even more funnier because it's like, okay, well, what did you just say? Like,
Yeah.
I heard you, but did you actually really hear what I said? Did you? This is why it's very important to practice. It's seriously important to practice critical thinking skills.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like, I guess, people always see what they want to see. And like, I even remind myself whenever I look at anything in a negative light, I'm like, okay, wait, what's really going on here? And do my best to put a positive spin on everything. And, that comes back down to manifestation as well. But yeah, it's just interesting how we can warp situations and see things that aren't really there, you know?
Yeah, because that's why it's important that we have to see things as they really are and not how we want to see them. We have to see as, because once you can see things as they really are, that's when things actually change.
Yeah.
Because when you're not fighting it, you're not forcing it, you're just seeing it and like, okay, whatever. Like, it is what it is kind of thing. Even with everything that's going on in the world, it's like, all right, well, you have all these like different issues that are happening,
Yeah.
but the root, the way that I look at what's happening, and it's thanks to the classes that I've had the opportunity of um taking, that I can sit here being like, when I see people like, oh, I'm gonna go to a different country. Okay, well, you're just gonna be like the ancestors and run away from the problem instead of finding a solution.
Mm.
That's the root problem. If I'm being honest, that's literally the root,
Yeah.
because from learning about what I learned in eco psychology is that basically eco psychology is the study of the earth in relation to us.
Okay.
That's what eco psychology is.
Okay.
So what eco psychology taught me is that we learned we didn't learn how to take care of the planet, and we took advantage of the planet and her resources, and we progressed at such a rapid speed that now we're getting mad because Mother Nature wants her planet back.
Mm.
But we refuse to take accountability. And when I say we refuse to take accountability, it's not a me thing, it's a we thing.
Yeah.
Because we're all at fault.
Yeah.
Because no one was like, people were like, yeah, this is happening, but no one did anything about it. It's
Yeah.
like we're complaining that this is happening, but we're not doing anything about it. So we're all at fault. Even with Orange Dump being president, we're all sitting here like, oh yeah, this is happening, but you're complaining about it, but what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
But you would rather run away from the problem versus facing the problem head on.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to when you look at previous generations, and you can psychoanalyze and be analytical when you go back to previous generations. What is the routine? What is the behavior? What are the patterns? And what do the patterns teach? That people run away from the problem and do not take accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And they operate in greed and masculine energy, and it's out of whack now.
Yeah.
Because the masculine energy that is in its place has not dealt with the feminine side.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to bring things back into alignment, you need to balance it with the feminine. But to do that, you have to literally look at the problem and get to the root.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to find a solution if you're not willing to look at the root problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true.
I could literally talk about that all day.
No, it's an important issue, you know?
Like, it's so important. And it's like, it's not even like, okay, it's not to say, okay, you have to be, and it's not to say to, because I know some creators are like, okay, don't ignore what's going on. And it's like, I don't agree with that ignoring. It's more like, okay, you want to observe it so you know how to move, so you know how to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing, and it's not like, okay, I'm telling you to sit there watching the news. Like, no, don't consume it. But you never want to be. And I made a video about it before, and it didn't really do well. I may repost it, but I was basically saying manifesting is not an excuse to be ignorant to what's going on around you.
Mm.
Because you don't want to be so consumed with what's going on with just you and positive that you're being ignorant to the world around you. Mm-hmm. And being oblivious to the world around you, because that's like you're being hollow. Somebody told me the other day, it's like you're being a hollow Buddha. Because you live so inside yourself that you're not balanced, and the whole point of doing this work is for there to be balance. The whole point of you doing this work is to have the tools to move in the world. Mm-hmm. that's Buddha. That's Jesus.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to go into the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of it. So if you can't go into the world, you can't expect to go into the world, and you can't expect to be the light when you're afraid of the dark.
Mm.
When you're afraid of what's going on, you can't be a light. You have to be a light. You have to face the dark.
Mm. I feel you on that.
Damn, that's a word. My bad.
No, it's great, you know? And
That was a word.
yeah, it makes me think of, uh, just in general, like how much we need each other as a planet and just in manifestation in general. I feel like a lot of us experience challenges when it comes to manifestation or struggle or end up too in our heads because we're not connecting enough with our community and the people around us and finding like-minded people also. I think it's so essential to progress, to be surrounded by people who also believe in this stuff and can also envision a better world and a better world for themselves as well, a better inner world and a better outer world. So like I think moving forward, especially for me and what I want to do for other people is create that community and really have that support, because I think a lot of us can feel really isolated on this journey because we don't know a lot of people in our real life who are into this stuff. So then it's like, okay, well, I'm surrounded by all these unawakened people or people who are just unaware of manifestation or maybe more quote unquote traditional, which there's nothing wrong with. But, at the end of the day, like if we want to envision a better world for ourselves and for everyone else, it's so important to surround ourselves with community and people that are going to uplift us and think in the same way. And I think that can eliminate a lot of struggle when we remove ourselves from that isolation and just connect with others, you know?
Hi, Pebbles. We have the gorgeous Pebbles in here.
Hi! I follow you too. You're awesome.
Aww. I love how she can. Oh, see, community. We talking about community, and look who we done manifested in here.
Yes.
Yes. No, that community part is such a important factor. It's like, okay, it's one thing for us, because I know a big component of a lot of the stuff that we always talk about is, okay, everything is you pushed out, or focus on self-concept, focus on yourself and whatnot, and that's great. But are we doing more harm? Is that and this is partly with the way that I think, is with the high school captain. The part of the way that I think is not very analytical, but very like analytical, but at the same time very intuitive and intentional.
Uh-huh.
So I start asking these questions, like deep questions, like questions that make you think. Like, when we say focus on yourself and focus on the self concept, are we continuing to perpetuate a narrative of individualistic culture?
Hmm. Mm. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I think. What can we do to know, how can we teach this and teach this stuff in a way where it does promote the balance of that give and take, and knowing the discernment to know when, oh, I need to retreat so that I recharge my energy, and knowing when to do that, and then knowing when I need help and support in the community.
Yeah. Snap to that. For real. For real. It's such a balance. And I feel like it makes me think about, all the things that we want to manifest too. We technically are, in order to get the things that we desire, I believe it is a healing that takes place both in ourselves and another person. Like if we want to manifest an SP, we've got to see the best version of them too. Right? So in manifesting my SP, I can see the best version of them and in turn envision the best version of me. So that way, because I believe like in a fully healed world, everyone would say yes to everyone. Like everyone would give everyone what they wanted. And so, you know, because everyone's coming from a healed place, which might sound crazy to people, but like it's, I don't know, I think about this a lot just with manifestation. It's always expecting and seeing the best in others, and that's how we get what we want and also give others what they want, if that makes sense.
Yeah, oh, that makes sense, and that's why it's important, like, to watch how you're perceiving or viewing somebody, because you don't know how that perception is ultimately going to hinder you or hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could, a prime example of this is there was an incident with my SP where I thought he blocked me and unfollowed me on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
I made it a big deal and I said something and I kind of cursed him out. And the very next day I realized that this is why you gotta be careful with how you view stuff. The very next day I realized that he never actually unfollowed me, that the account that I was logged into my business TikTok.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great example.
I did not talk to him for weeks. Still haven't talked to him like that.
Mm.
Because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pull back.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I love that honesty, like, and that vulnerability, because we all have been there. We've all misinterpreted things. We've all jumped to conclusions and then realized, oh wait, like that's not what happened. It's so funny. Like, I don't know, the mind's a funny place. You know, it wants to jump to worst case scenarios to protect us, but so much of the time, like the worst case scenarios never even happen. Even manifestation or not, even if you don't manipulate, like even when I wasn't into manifestation, I was just like heavily into mindfulness and just like into not believing the mind. I'm like, wait, how many of these worst case scenarios have actually happened in my life? Virtually none of them have happened. Like very few times has the worst case scenario actually happened. So it's like even disproving that, and I don't know, maybe you encounter that in your own, since you're pursuing mindfulness in your own degree with your degree, but I don't know, it's just interesting to me to think about, and the mind is actually quite hilarious.
Oh, it is very, very, very hilarious. And like Pebbles has said, embrace embrace the imperfections, because the goal is not. I have the motto of progress over perfection. Like, I don't want to be perfect. Like, who wants to be perfect? Perfect doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Like, embrace it. Embrace the good. Embrace the bad, and embrace the journey.
Yeah.
Like, I really sometimes it, I hear what people say when they're like, okay, manifesting is not a process, but it's like, okay, manifesting is not a process. However, everything is a process, and the internal work that you're going through is a process,
Yeah.
because that's like, if I can compare photography, like film photography, to manifesting, film and digital photography, if we compare the two to manifesting, right?
Yeah.
Film photography is the inward work, right?
Uh-huh.
Whereas digital is the quick fix. Like, I want it now, instant gratification.
Yeah. Yeah.
Film does not give you instant gratification. How do I know this? Boy, thank you for coming. We appreciate you.
Much
Film,
love. Yes.
um,
Lots of gratitude.
film gives you that the film doesn't give you instant gratification because that's a process. You don't see you don't see the images. I don't see what's going on. I don't see the movement. Right? So I had to when I took a film class in school, the first day I went to school because it's intro to photography. I'm like, I don't want like intro to photography. Okay, great. I got a digital camera. Great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna take some really great photos. First day of class, I know I have to do film. Excuse me? I don't even own a film camera. Where the freak am I getting a film camera from? You want me to do what? I don't want to do this. I almost dropped the class. But had I dropped the class, I wouldn't be able to have this conversation. I wouldn't be able to connect the dots to manifesting.
Yeah, yeah.
And literally that first assignment, the first assignment that I had, and every assignment there afterwards, it wasn't a lot that I was going through.
Whoa.
And that first assignment that she had given us, it was to photograph where you lived.
Okay.
And I was triggered by where I was living, where I'm currently living at that moment. I was so triggered by it that when I took the photos I messed up the rolls of film got messed up. In the development process.
Okay.
And so the manifestation was the contact sheet. I couldn't use it. Like the contact sheet was all discombobulated. So I couldn't see. I can actually show you guys.
Yes.
What I'm talking about. Just so you can see what happens when you get triggered into manifestation.
That's crazy. A physical manifestation, like
it was literally a physical. It was literally. I don't even care for this. That's why I'm ripping it out of the thing. Now that part that says a lot because then the teacher kept on saying, trust the process. I'm like, woman, I don't trust the process in my own life, and you want me to trust the process with this? You gotta roll film on a little reel in the dark. Okay? You gotta roll film in a dark room. I can't see. Trust the process. I can't see. You don't see what's going on in here. You don't see the images until after. You gotta put it in a tin. And if I mess up anything in that process, I don't have the images. And I've messed up quite a few times towards the end of the semester because I was rushing the process. I put fixer remover in first before putting the developer so that I never even got to see the images, like it never even happened. Okay? What? Revision.
Damn.
Those things never happened.
Damn, that's crazy.
And by the time the end of the semester is, I did start getting, I got these 2 photos and some other ones and got an A in the class.
Ooh, could you zoom in on it? I want to see better.
Oh my God,
that's beautiful.
I started shooting more authentic stuff that was geared towards what I wanted to shoot as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, no, they're gorgeous.
So that's that internal, it was that internal work Like, it really took a lot, but it's that process. So when people say, "Oh, manifesting is not a process," no, 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 no. It's very much a process. It's an internal process that you're constantly going through, that you're constantly evolving, that you're constantly changing.
Yeah.
And the finished product is one of those photos. Your desire is one of those photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
The question is do you want to rush it?
Mhm.
Because I can't rush developing film.
Yeah.
So if I can't rush that, why am I rushing how long my desire takes?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I no longer, yes, I manifest instantly, but because I've let go of the notion of manifesting instantly, and I'm not no longer attached to manifesting instantly or the time it takes or whatever, and it allowed myself to slow down and not rush it so that I don't make mistakes
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
Because when
Well,
you rush, you're bound to make a mistake.
yeah. No, that's so true. That's so true. It's a great analogy. I used to, I took a film class also, so I know what you're talking about. It's like such a perfect analogy, and it's actually it's so fun to develop film. Actually, the whole process is a blast, and then it's great to see the end result. But the journey is just as fucking fun. Like, what'd you say?
I said, going through that whole process of like the developmental process, I have a field day in there.
Mm,
It's like I'm meditating.
yeah, it is like a meditation. You're right. So good.
It's literally, to me, it's like it's full blown meditation.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true.
I know some people may be like, no, it's not a no. It's definitely a meditation. Like, because it's like it's that routine, and you're so focused, you're so zen,
Yeah,
and you're slowing down, it, taking taking the photo, doing that, and going to like it really puts you in this other dynamic, and you don't realize how much that is a meditation.
mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like it's kind of ceremonious, really. Or ceremonial, I mean. Feels like a ritual.
Yeah, yeah, very, very, very much so. What other forms of meditation would you say you do, or do you just sit and meditate?
I so right now, like I've been lately doing visualization during my meditations, just visualizing what it is that I desire. That's been lately, but like it's every like I go through periods of evolving. Like I've done mindfulness meditation, where it's just focus-based meditation, where you're focusing on the breath or focusing on the present moment or observing your thoughts. Or times when I'm like, let me not do anything and just sit here, and yeah, or like I don't know or following affirmations. Like it keeps evolving. I think lately I just moving forward right now I'm in this mode of okay, just visualizing whatever feels good in the moment. It's not even sticking to a routine. I'm like, okay, I want to experience this thing, let me just sit down and visualize it for this time, for 10-20 minutes. That like I just want to have fun. That's essentially it. I just want to have fun and live in my imagination for a little bit. So yeah, how about you? Are you oh, go ahead and read your comments.
Meditate through breathing and then become a force, and then the force transition into power that I can use in any way. That's good. Um, well, for this semester in particular, we're actually experimenting with different forms of meditation. I prefer walking meditation,
Okay.
which I realized that I actually did it before I even knew was doing, even before I knew what walking meditation actually really is.
Okay.
Because I realized that when I'm waiting for the train, I can't stay still.
Uh,
And you understand because you live in New York, so you get it.
Yeah, I
When I'm
do.
waiting for the train, I never stay still. I'm always walking back and forth. Um, so I like doing walking meditations, like a lot. Um, Even just like mindfully going out and exploring without my phone.
Mm,
Um, that is also helpful. The other week we practiced um shamanic, like we were supposed to like listen to shamanic drumming. We learned about shamanism that week. So we did that. This week it was like intense concentration and meta. Like there's so many different ways, and like the professor was like, don't be so stuck on one form of meditation that you're rigid to not trying other techniques and other meditations.
yeah,
You
yeah,
might you might find something that actually works for you.
yeah, for sure. Because there are like a
And
billion different ways to do it.
there's so many ways to do it. Even in school I learned that we learned there's more than one way to therapy other than talk therapy. But you don't know that. Most of us don't know that. I didn't know that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we're only taught go to therapy. Like go to therapy. Okay, well what does therapy look like? Okay, well there's talk therapy, there's art therapy, there's psychosynthesis therapy, there's NLP therapy, there's expressive arts therapy, there's dance movement therapy, there's drama therapy, there's phototherapy, there's play therapy, sand therapy. The list goes on and on.
yeah.
The list literally goes on and on and on. As the amount of art therapies there are, I even learned there was at my graduation. I learned there was poetry therapy.
Ooh,
There's a degree in my PhD program for literally poetry therapy.
that's crazy. That is crazy cool. I've never heard of that before either.
Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing. I was like, what? Poetry therapy? What? There's a black, I forgot what the woman's name is, but she was a person of color, and she's getting her PhD in poetry therapy and working at Rikers Island.
Wow.
I was like, way to go.
That is crazy cool.
Way to go. I'm like, just keep on adding. The amount of therapies there are, there's probably more than one way to meditate.
Oh my God,
And
yeah.
we're different snowflakes. You're not gonna have the way that I meditate is gonna be completely different than the way that you meditate. The way that you know what I mean. There's
Mhm.
so many different techniques. There's so many different therapies. There's so many different ways to meditate. Find what works for you. But in order to find what works for you, you gotta try it.
Yeah, for sure.
Try it. See what works. See what doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, for real. It's so funny. This week I posted a video about you, like the different meditations we do throughout throughout our spiritual
Oh yeah, and what
awakening.
about music therapy? I forgot. Music therapy is a thing too.
Oh yeah,
You can see Alzheimer patients kind of like, yeah,
that's so good. Crazy. There are infinite therapies, it feels like. But yeah, no, I think it's like funny, how we throughout the spiritual journey we go through all these different kind of meditative practices. And where we're visualizing, it's manifestation, but then we get into shadow work and inner child healing, and then we get into presence and mindfulness and observing the breath, and like we go through all these different phases. It's just, I don't know, it's incredible, and there really are infinite ways to do it.
yeah. No, there are so many different ways, and that's why it's like you can't just limit yourself to just this one. Don't limit yourself to just this one way of doing it. Just this one thing. Like, no, there are so many ways to do it. Like, you just have to literally find what works for you. Because just because it works for me doesn't mean it's gonna work for you.
Mm-hmm.
You just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. The whole point of this is for you to have the tools. Like, that's the whole point. Now that I think about it, there's a book that apparently I'm really sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, oh wait, there's a book that said it was delivered. Don't mind me. That was my brain going, trying to figure out where the heck that book that I ordered called All the Time in the World that literally has a section about revision in there from
Oh.
someone other than Neville Goddard himself.
Oh. You said someone other than Neville.
Yes. That's
Okay.
also a very important thing. Expand your knowledge and understand there's more than one person to learn from.
So true. True that.
Like, I think we forget, like, there's more than one person who talks manifesting. There's more than one person. Learn from everybody because knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For real. I believe you mentioned earlier about self-trust. Do you have like a specific, I don't know, practice or something you do to get back to a place of self-trust, to trusting yourself with your own manifesting abilities and not solely relying on outside sources for confirmation or to follow? Like, how do you get back to, like, I'm curious how you personally get back to a place of self-trust.
How I get back to that self trust is I tune everything else out and I go back to church.
Mm. Nice.
I that transformation church. The church itself literally says transformation.
Mm.
Like, I think we forget, and I'm not saying that everybody has to go to church. No, you don't have to. I'm not saying that. But find a place that's like your sanctuary and just go there.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, I kept on saying, I need a reset. I need a reset. I need a reset. I needed a reset. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna, I felt called to um start watching the Michael Todd's pastor like preach on Sundays. I felt called to do that, and I was like, you know what? I guess I'm gonna start watching this again. So I started watching it again, but I came in at the time where he was talking about reset, and I'm like, okay, I guess let me continue listening. And when I started listening more, I was like, okay, yeah, I needed to hear that. Like, and then the following week, it was, we found out what the word of the year was. The word of the year being focus. It's like, yeah, I need to focus. Like, I was like, I really need to start focusing more. Like, I need to just focus.
Mm.
Yeah. Then distractions. We learn about distractions right now and what distractions may look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he was saying how everyone, like, when the TikTok was down, he was like, everyone is like having funerals for TikTok. Maybe TikTok is your distraction.
Mm.
Some of y'all care more about your TikToks than you getting off your butt. In what areas? And then he was like, really be honest with yourself, because most of us are not being honest. In what areas do you need to have more focus? Where are you letting a distraction in? You got to be able to build up the wall of penetration. You got to build up that wall of no. No distraction.
Hmm.
Focus. You're not, no,
Yeah.
no. If you're not helping me, you're a distraction. If you're not helping me better myself, you're a distraction. If you want to gossip, you're a distraction. You're not
Mm,
getting money with me, you're a distraction. Anything that is not in alignment with what I want is a distraction from my end.
mm, so fucking true.
And that's how you get back to trusting yourself, because you're removing anything that says counter that counteracts what it is that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're distracted, you're not creating. So it's
Like you can't. How do you, if you're distracted? TV, watching TV, multitasking is a distraction,
mm,
because are you really focused?
mm-hmm.
Like, are you really focused if you're trying to multitask?
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a person that's gonna say they're being like, yeah, I can multitask. I'm really good at multitasking. That's not healthy. I'm sorry, not sorry, but that's actually not healthy. It's actually really not good for your brain. Unless your brain runs a million miles a second, that's not good. Like, how present are you really in what you are doing that you are multitasking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's just my honest opinion. I used to commend my SP for being a really good multitasker, because he would stream and talk to me at the same time. And I used to praise him for it. And I'm like, how the hell are you playing a video game while streaming, while talking to me all at the same time? And I'm like, you're talking to me, but I can't tell that you're talking to me, because I struggle with doing it. Like, I've been trying to do it here while while I'm here with you. And I'm like, yeah, this is not weird. How the hell is he doing? What? No, yeah, no, how?
No, I get that. It's it takes a lot of brain power. I know I struggle with the lives too, where I'm like reading the comments, but then simultaneously talking with someone else. My brain's like screaming.
I genuinely can't wait to see my husband in person, because I'm just gonna be like, can you show me this multitasking? I need to see it in action, because I want to see it in action, and I want to see how this really works in person. And then I'm gonna have a conversation and be like, so, did you know that this is actually really not healthy? Because it's really not. Because your brain, like, boy, my brain hurts just thinking about it.
I feel you.
Like, but it also, it's like, it also, it warms my heart, because like a big pet peeve of mine in the past would be that my exes would be so invested in their games that they never gave me attention.
Mm,
So a big thing for me that I put on my it, I have this thing where I'll take what I don't want in the guys that I've dated, and I've compartmentalized it. I never had a list, right? Never had a list, never made a list. But I took all of the things that I didn't like and said, I don't want this. Give me a guy that doesn't do this, because I don't want this. I don't mind that you're a gamer. I don't mind that you're a nerd. I don't mind, I don't mind any of that. But I would like, you'd be like, I was very specific. Like, I want you to be tall. Like, I need you to be tall, taller than me. 6'2", the max. Work out. Uh, be a nerd. Be into anime. Play video games like me. Um, accept me for who I am. Love music. Um, pretty much the male version of me.
Yeah.
Okay, the male version of me. Be my soulmate. And I wasn't. I thought that that person was my ex and my ex SP. Turned out that was a lie. And what I get with the SP that I have now is completely different.
Hmm.
You know, you know what I'm talking about because we've had our side conversations about it.
Yes.
So it's a different feeling. So
Hmm.
even though I didn't have that script or have that in a list, like I didn't make a list, my brain was like, yeah, it, he's literally checks off literally everything off that list,
Mm.
except for maybe one thing. But outside of that, checks off everything off that list.
Ticks all the boxes.
Yeah,
Nice.
every last one of them.
That's crazy.
So I don't like. Do you think that you've ever compartmentalized a list before?
Like for what I want in an SP?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like it's manifested where like I've manifested where it's a different SP. Like I thought I wanted this person and I did for a while and then someone even better came along and I was like, "Oh wait, actually I don't even give a fuck about the old SP anymore." So, like you cuz your SP changed also. It's just funny how things change and like what seems like such a big deal in one moment ends up turning, and then you're like, and then one day it doesn't matter to you, and you're like, wow, I found someone even better. And so, yeah, where they just tick all the boxes, or like even tick boxes you didn't even know you wanted, where you're like, wait, actually, like, I love that they meet this criteria. I never even thought about that. So,
I never thought
yeah.
about that.
What'd you say?
I said that part. Never would think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, yeah. So it's I've definitely, yeah, have had my list in mind, and like the people I've interacted with and attracted into my life, I'm like, whoa, they met everything. That's crazy. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah, that part. Like it's definitely um one of those like it's one of those, how did I put it? Um it's like one of those, like you don't know what you're going to get until you get it.
Mm,
It's like,
yeah.
and it can happen in the most weirdest. It can happen in the most weirdest way too, because it's like even with my old SP, he literally told somebody, he's like, "Yeah, I just want her to move on. I just want her to move on." 2 days later, new SP pops up on my For You page. I,
Mm,
I I'm like, oh, okay. I guess he just spoke that into existence.
yeah. Yeah. That's
Because,
so funny. That's amazing.
yeah, and now he mad because I actually did move on.
That's how it goes, right?
Mad as heck. Can't
Damn.
even say, and I have to say old SB because it's like, okay, he tends to watch the content, so I
Hmm.
can't even be like, I had to be careful sometimes of what I say because him and his goons tend to watch my content, thinking that I'm talking about them or him. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's besides the point. It's just, I guess the question I want to ask you is What do you do for dealing with when unfavorable circumstances pop up?
Hmm. I feel like it changes every time. It depends on what my mood is. Uh but I do my best to attach positive meaning to everything that comes into my life because I've noticed that's when I'm able to alchemize the situation and that's when things actually change. Because if something feels like it's the old reality coming up, I don't objectively like if I center myself, I know objectively it isn't the old reality, it's just my old interpretation of reality. And so I'm like, okay, think from higher self, think from positive self, think from God self, put a positive spin on this. Um, like and give people the benefit of the doubt. This is somehow working in my favor, even if I don't understand it in that moment. But it's giving myself the opportunity to get really creative and use my creative power to really reinterpret a situation and yeah, just looking for the positive in everything. And it's been amazing to see when I do that how the situation conforms to that expectation then. Like I've seen people change. Like I think I was talking to you about this when we were talking one on one before, but seeing people change when I'm experiencing something. Like I remember someone saying something and it triggered me and I was like, oh my God, I was like, this person, I don't want to talk to this person anymore. They're horrible. And, just triggers from the past and, having to do with what I've experienced in the past. And then after I let all my tears out and just felt like, in the moment with ego, you feel like the victim. Then like the next day I woke up and I was like, no, I've got to alchemize this. Like, I noticed how much my body, like, it cannot take any more of the victim mentality. It's not that I never experienced it, but it's like I have to release it. I'll just cry it out. And then, after the tears wash away, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. And so I'm able to see clearly and I'm like, okay, we've released the victim mentality. I'm not a victim anymore. How am I alchemizing this? It was just a trigger. How do I make this? So I'm like, okay, that thing that triggered me that person said, I'm going to reinterpret it in a different way. I'm going to say they didn't mean that. I'm going to say it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. Like all these things, just alchemize it and attach positive meaning to it. And then I did that and I spoke to that person again, and they were so different because I was looking at the positive aspects in them. And it was like a completely different conversation than the first time I had spoken to them. And my mind was so blown. And I was like, you manifest things, but it still shocks me every time. It still shocks me every time. I'm like, wow, this shit is real. And it blows my mind. And so it's crazy. Like nothing is ever set in stone. Nothing is static. Like everything is so malleable. And situations like that always remind me of that. I'm like, no one is ever one way. And if you really pay attention and give people the benefit of the doubt, they will conform to that. You see the positive in others, you expect the best in others, you receive the best in others. And like that is what I stand by and that's my practice right now.
You are not saying anything that's not true, because that is truth. Because it's like, okay, yeah, I can sit here not I can literally sit here and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna get what I want just because I see the opposite. And I think a lot of people they tend to think um they tend to think that, okay, I'm not gonna get what I want, but in reality, what if this negative situation is really just setting you up to get what you want?
Mm-hmm.
And your inability to not react, like your inability to not react is what's setting you up to think that you're not getting what you want, but in reality you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though, like, because I've done it before where I will literally have spiraled and I'll be on the phone crying to my friend, but I'll be like, you know what? But I'm still getting what I want. Like throughout the conversation, I'll be like venting, crying, tears in my eyes, and I'll be like, "Yeah, but I'm still getting what I want. Somehow, some way, this is still gonna work out." Like periodically throughout the conversation, and they're like, "But you're saying you're going through this, but you're still saying that somehow, some way, you're still getting what you want." Yeah, because I am. Just allow me to feel my emotions.
Yes. Yes. I love that. It's like you still stick with the intention, but you're just releasing the old stuff, which is so powerful. Like, to be that talk about focus, right? It's like still knowing what you want even when your inner world feels like it's, wobbling. You're like, nope, wait, still eye on the prize, but I'm just gonna soothe myself and allow this body to feel what it needs to feel.
Yeah, basically, because you have to allow yourself to feel it. Because if you don't allow yourself to feel it, it's like you're trapping the emotion in your body versus releasing it.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you never want. Like I will never be one of those creators that's gonna be like, yeah, don't release it. No, 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 no. You need to release it.
Hmm.
Like you need to release it. Like that's pivotal. Like I can't stress that. Cannot stress that enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it depending on who you are. I think it's an essential part of the process. Um, for those of us who are aligned with like releasing that emotion, because it just feels like it's a release of old energy, right? And so then you release the old energy to make room for the new stuff. And I believe that's why we think way more clearly after a good cry or after a big release of emotion, because it's like it cleared the pathway, it cleared the old energy. So I'm like, oh, okay, wait, now I can see things for what they are. Now I can see clearly. Now I know what direction to take.
Yeah, essentially, like literally how it is. Like I feel it all. Like I feel like I have a cry every other every other week.
I feel you on that.
Like every other week, I have a really good cry session.
No, that's powerful. That's good.
But I'm also a Pisces, so I don't have a choice. I kind of have to have my little cry session. No, I don't have a choice.
I hear you on that.
So, it's good for you. It's good to feel your emotions. It's good to feel.
Hmm.
You're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're not a robot.
Hmm. Yeah. I think, it's like also um, reframing, talk about reframing things. What is happening? Because crying and certain emotions are associated with negativity or believing that something isn't going our way, when how often, like after we have a good cry, after we release emotion, like I feel like a lot of the times a big manifestation comes through, which is so funny. It precedes it. Um, like I know people who have experienced that. I've experienced that. I think it's just interesting, there's like the like our body has seasons, and like we lose our leaves and then we grow new leaves. Like, you know, we don't look at the loss of leaves in the winter on trees as a bad thing, right? It's just a part of the season. It's just a part of the process. And then there's renewal, and then spring comes, and then the leaves grow back again. And I believe the same thing happens for us. We cry, we release, and then we grow new leaves, and then we experience something new. We welcome the new into our lives. So it's a matter of just seeing it that way and not looking through the negative egoic lens of something's wrong, right? Because like I know when that voice starts talking, I'm like, okay, that's ego, that's not truth. I'm and you know, reframing it, going back to positive meaning, positive meaning, positive meaning.
Yeah, that's essentially really what it is. Like, you just have to keep giving something a positive meaning and keep assigning the positive meaning while simultaneously allowing yourself to feel your emotions.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think that's more healthy. That's a healthier alternative than the whole like being delusional or whatever. Not saying, look, I never got with the whole delusional thing. I'm more of a mystical, but allow myself to feel how it is that I feel. It's very therapy oriented.
Right, right.
It comes from a place of therapy. It comes from a place of understanding and meeting somebody where they're at versus being like telling them, oh, you have to do it this way. Like, no, it doesn't have to get done that way. I'm going to meet you where you're at.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's allowing, it's surrendering, it's like being in your feminine energy.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hard. But we're making it harder than what it really, really actually is.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember someone saying all manifestation is making a decision and sticking to it. And I felt like that was the best way to describe it because that's what it is and you know, it doesn't matter what happens in the in between. You're still as long as it's what you still want, you will get there. It's just a matter of sticking to that. Um, yeah, I think it's like a lot simpler than we make it, and you know, and I get sucked into it too of overcomplicating things. But then suddenly the clarity hits me. I'm like, oh wait, this shit is so simple. Why am I making this so complex?
Like, it's so simple that we make it complex.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just that simple. All it is literally make, um, just decide. Literally, decide. Get what you want.
Yeah.
It's literally just that easy.
Mhm. For real.
Like, I think that when we forget when we forget that it's that easy, it leaves room for it leaves it leaves the door open for that doubt to creep in.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. That's when we end up looking up all the other manifestation videos, like, am I doing it right? And then our head gets so filled with other people's techniques and methods, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like sometimes we gotta go through that to come back to ourselves. Like it's not that we never should have gone through that. It actually leads us back to ourselves and is part of the process of returning to self. And so, yeah, for me, I've realized it's about sticking to whatever routine I'm doing, and when the 3D circumstances are no longer influencing my decisions or you know my choices or actions, that's when magic seems to happen because you know the universe is responding to you and like, oh wow, she's still sticking to the same thing, no matter what I show her, like because you know you decide it works, then it works no matter what's happening around you. So I think it can be a powerful practice to just be like, okay, it's working no matter what is showing up, and I'm still gonna stick to the same routine. I'm not gonna like look for a million other things to be like, okay, because like once you change your routine, it depends on your intention, but once you change your routine, it implies that, oh, okay, I believe this isn't working, so I've got to change it. I mean, it can come from a place of fun or just wanting to switch things up too, but I've noticed it can be really powerful to stick to the same thing because that's when you're deciding, hey, I'm doing the right thing. This is the thing that's going to work. Nothing and no one's going to stop me.
Yeah, it's gonna, like, that's literally how simple and how easy it can literally be. It can be just that easy as just being like, you know what, no, I'm not gonna give up, and just sticking with it.
Yeah, for real.
And seeing where it goes. Like, you don't know if it's gonna work out or if it's not gonna work out. You don't know. Like, you have to know. There's a part of you that knows that it's gonna work out. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the journey in the first place.
Yeah, so true. So true. Part of me wonders if, like, manifesting, or any desire that comes to us is just a premonition that we're going to have that thing and the mind believes it needs to work for it, but it's ours regardless. It's I kind of go down that rabbit hole sometimes. I'm like, oh, it's a funny perspective.
Yes, it's definitely a funny. It's definitely one of those funny perspective. Oh, it's definitely one of those funny perspectives. It's definitely an interesting perspective, but again, just gotta persist.
Hmm.
Keep going, no matter what you see, no matter what you hear. Just keep going.
Yes, exactly.
Damn, that work week, the work week. I didn't realize because I've been working 8 to 5
Uh-huh.
Monday through Friday. So I've been getting up super, super early.
Uh,
So it's like, oh, my body's like, hey, I want to stay up, but the way that you've been working your butt off all week and waking up early, I would like to go to sleep so I can sleep in. Like, no, no, we've been waiting for this. Don't do that. No, we're not gonna do that. We can stay up for a little while longer. We don't have to work tomorrow. We can sleep in. Like, but I was telling somebody earlier, I said, that brain fog is real. Like, that brain fog is
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
You're feeling it. It's
Oh
okay, we
yes.
can close now.
I'm definitely feeling, you know what it is? It's because this conversation is so good. It put me in my parasympathetic nervous system
Oh,
because that's how good the conversation is.
aw.
I'm like, oh damn, no, don't do that. But it was so good.
Aw, no, this has been so fun. Like, thank you so much for inviting me to this.
You, like, next time we're gonna do it on your live.
That sounds great. That sounds great to
Yeah.
me.
I'd love to do it on yours next time.
Yeah, let's do it.
I only did it on here so I can take the replay and put it on YouTube.
Yes. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and I wish you a beautiful, restful sleep.
It's gonna be an amazing sleep.
For sure, for sure.
Appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who decided to tune in and join and be engaging on the live. Even if you didn't say anything, I still appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to Natasha, the Reframe Queen, to her YouTube channel if you are not on TikTok.
Thank you. Much
And
love,
that's how I
everyone.
know you guys watched the video all the way through, by you subscribing to her YouTube channel. That's how I know.
She's tracking you.
What? We streamed for an hour and 35 minutes. So, yeah, I'm going to know if y'all went to go subscribe to her YouTube channel if you watched the full hour and 35 minutes. I'm just saying. Now, if you're on TikTok and you have the four people who are watching on TikTok, please go support Natasha by following her. Please and thank you. But also go check out the replay when I upload it. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. I
You're welcome.
appreciate you and appreciate everyone here and so much love. It
This was amazing.
was such a great enlightening conversation.
Yeah, like so see, this is meditation too.
Yes. Yes. This is my favorite meditation actually. Conversations like this, like just I love just waxing poetic about life, about philosophy.
I think that's why it definitely did something to my parasympathetic nervous system, because it definitely was like, okay, yeah, yeah, this is good stuff. Like it just relaxed me to the point where I'm just like, okay. Like I didn't even, it wasn't even because I was like, yeah, I'm fine, like I'm good. And then the next thing you know, I started feeling myself yawn, and I'm like, wait, what the heck?
That's crazy. That's
I'm
amazing.
so relaxed. Like I'm just so relaxed that I'm just like, oh, okay. Like that's what a real good conversation will do to you. It's
Yeah.
like that fall asleep on the phone. Like it's like that fall asleep on the phone with your lover.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you know how you fall asleep having a conversation with your significant other,
Yes.
and you just fall asleep talking to them. Like 1 minute you're awake, and then the next minute you're knocked out. Yeah, that's this.
Yes. That's a beautiful analogy that I never thought of. I love it.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now.
Yes. No, it's
It's not,
beautiful.
and it doesn't mean that okay, no, this was boring or anything, because that's not what I like. That's not what I'm
Totally.
saying. It's just it's a safe space.
Yes, exactly. A safe space. You're right. That's
It
totally it.
it activated the parasympathetic nervous system to the point where I feel comfy because we're having a good conversation.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, if you really want to, guys, if you there's more than one way to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, so I'm gonna share that. If you really, really want to activate it, have a good conversation with somebody you trust and you feel
Yes.
safe with.
Yes. Oh my God. That's brilliant. I never thought about it before until you're mentioning it now, but
The
totally
yawning is a key
100%.
indication. When you yawn, that is how you know you've activated your parasympathetic nervous system.
Mm, mm, yes. I love it. I love it.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you again. And
You're
thank you everyone.
welcome. Thank you.
I wish
Bye.
you the most beautiful night ever. And we'll be in touch. We already always talk anyway.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yes.
Yay.
Alrighty. All right. Have a good, restful, safe, beautiful sleep to you and to everyone here. And so much love and happy manifesting.
Bye.
Bye.